Bitcoin is the first monetary asset that is not intrinsically defective. That's a big sentence. Think about it. It's the first non-defective asset. People will build, if you double the price of real estate, they'll create more. If you double the price of a stock, they'll create more. They print more fiat currency. They mine more gold, but nobody can create more Bitcoin.
The search for sound money, a hard currency, safe haven currency, or strong currency that serves as a reliable and stable store of value has been ongoing for thousands of years. Historically, many things have been considered as money, including shells, feathers, certain stones, beads, and precious metals like gold and silver. However, only metals like gold and silver have earned the sound money title, and for thousands of years, gold in particular served as a safe haven asset for people around the world, especially in times of strife and all-out chaos. However, the invention of Bitcoin changed a lot of our previous perceptions of money, investing, and finance. What the world used to applaud as safe haven assets and hard money very much pale in comparison to even the most basic fundamentals of the world's largest crypto network and its native coin. According to Michael Saylor, the founder and executive chairman of MicroStrategy, Bitcoin is much more than just an investment asset or a simple technological invention. It is the apex technological innovation, apex commodity, property, and above all, the soundest money that puts all other sound monies to shame. Saylor, a successful billionaire executive, recently addressed the attendees of a Bitcoin conference in Argentina, a country currently battling almost 200% year-over-year inflation due to reckless monetary policies. Saylor makes a brilliant case for investing in Bitcoin by detailing how Bitcoin compares with assets like gold, real estate, and equities. We will now bring you clips from Saylor's presentation as he explains just why Bitcoin is the only asset that can help you maintain and significantly grow your wealth over time. Please watch, share, and like this video. Also, ensure you subscribe to the channel, turn on post notifications, and don't forget to drop your comments and observations in the comments section below. Thanks, and enjoy the video.
You could think of Bitcoin as the apex commodity. The top competitor would be gold, worth $10 trillion. And if Bitcoin's digital gold, it's better than gold. And it's better than gold because it's got an absolute supply cap. The production is rapidly approaching zero. You know, after 2035, there effectively isn't any material new production of Bitcoin for the next 100 years. And that means we're totally capped. And so people compare Bitcoin to gold, but Bitcoin is gold without the liabilities and the risks of gold. It's kind of pharmaceutical grade gold. Gold is going to have systemic inflation. Miners are going to make more gold. It's hard to audit. It's very difficult to transfer. It's expensive to custody. It's very expensive to authenticate. Those are all the liabilities of gold. We know about that. The reason we know it doesn't work is because gold has not been appreciating in value for quite a while now. Now, Bitcoin solves that problem, but it enhances gold with digital audit, digital transfer, digital custody, decentralized robustness, integrity. It's got a global utility and appeal, and the technology industry is enhancing the value of Bitcoin. One day you will see every smartphone in the world will have support for Bitcoin built into it. And even right now, you can download dozens of apps that handle Bitcoin. And so you can't download any app that moves gold around. And that's why Bitcoin is the apex commodity. It's just better than gold. But to say that and stop there is really underselling Bitcoin, because Bitcoin's also the apex property. You could think of it as Cyber Manhattan, 21 million blocks in cyberspace with appeal to 8 billion people worldwide. What if everybody wanted to live in Cyber Manhattan? The top competitor in the property market is New York, or London, or Paris, or Tokyo. And if you owned a city block in New York in the last 100 years, you probably made a lot of money. But the problem with owning buildings in New York is you have maintenance cost, depreciation, zoning risk, property tax, physical nexus. You can't move the building from one city to another city. It's immobile. It's illiquid. And if you want to sell or buy the building, you have to sell it all at the same time. And it's very expensive to do that. And it takes a lot of time. So Bitcoin improves on that by creating a building that's indestructible, immortal, immaterial. You can scale it. You can buy it $37 at a time. You can move it with high frequency. It's portable. It's global, universally desirable. And, it's like owning a building. But if you're going to own a building in Buenos Aires. Why wouldn't you have a building that you could teleport to London, Paris, or Japan when you needed to and sell it? It's just much better idea. So Bitcoin is better property than any kind of physical property. But Bitcoin's also the apex technology, right? It's a bank in cyberspace run by incorruptible software. It's open to everyone on Earth. So you can think of it as digital finance. And the top competitor in technology is Apple. Apple's the most valuable company in the world, but right behind it is Google and Microsoft and Amazon. And big tech is an obvious good idea. But what if I could actually have a digital monopoly that's global, that everybody wants, but without the management team, without the employees? You know, right now people want to unionize Amazon. They're talking about unionizing Tesla. Well, you can't unionize a company that has no employees, that is no company. The management's never going to screw up if there is no management. You know, you've got corporate taxes and tariffs and product cycles. You know, we're on the iPhone 15. You know, what about the iPhone 37? Will that be the one that you want? Because Bitcoin in 100 years is going to be 1/21 millionth of all the money in the network. So the product was set a decade ago. It'll be the same 100 years from now. It may be the same 1,000 years from now.
Outside being an apex property, commodity, and technology without blemishes, Saylor also describes Bitcoin as the apex money and the world's first engineered sound money. These are views the MicroStrategy executive chairman has held for years since he really took the time to look into Bitcoin. While attending a conference earlier this year, the billionaire business executive described Bitcoin as a thermodynamically sound money. The reason Bitcoin is so sound is because it is thermodynamically sound, Saylor stated. It's this masterpiece of engineering because we've created a monetary asset where we stripped away all the counterparty risks. Saylor also said Bitcoin was special because it offers a powerful and profound simplicity that enables others to plug into the system with fewer risks. With Bitcoin, an average user could create digital equity without equity risks, digital commodities without commodity risks, and computer networks without computer risks.
But some people invest in money. And what's the top competitor? The sovereign debt, right? A bond. So the U.S. Treasury bond is the treasury asset for most corporations, most governments. There's hundreds of trillions of these bonds out there. But Bitcoin is digital money, and so it's a non-sovereign bearer asset. It serves the value of a bond, but it doesn't have systemic inflation or counterparty risk or mandatory custodians, and it doesn't have the real problem, negative real yields. If the monetary inflation rate is 7 or 8% and the bond pays 5%, the after-tax yield is 2 or 3%. So it means you've got a negative real yield of 5%, which means your money's going to go away. It's going to be cut in half every 14 years. And every bond, every sovereign bond has a negative real yield in every country, always. Bitcoin, on the other hand, is digital. You can self-custody it. It appreciates much faster than fiat, and it allows you to escape the local currency risk. So, and it's the longest duration asset. You know, a bond could be 30 years, but Bitcoin is forever. Bitcoin's a 1,000-year asset. I mean, it doesn't expire. Companies don't last 1,000 years. Buildings don't last 1,000 years. I mean, I guess the closest thing to something that might last 1,000 years is a bar of gold, but gold isn't scarce. You know, when the Spanish came to the New World and the conquistadors stole all the gold from South America, they brought it back to Spain. They created massive hyperinflation and tripled the supply of everything and crashed their own economy in Spain and the rest of Europe. So there's always been inflation, even in gold on the gold standard, because it's not scarce. And now a lot of talk about the ETFs coming. Bitcoin's going to be the apex ETF. You could think of it as a global monetary network. It's the first ETF that's based on a synthetic asset with an absolute fixed supply that also has global appeal. It's competing against the S&P index, the SPDR, SPY, and it competes against some other monetary ETFs like GLD or BOND or the NASDAQ index. But ultimately, Bitcoin is destined to rise above them as the global index because it doesn't have asset inflation. All these other indexes have asset inflation. If you buy billions of dollars of the S&P index, it cranks up the stock price of all the companies in the index. They issue more equity. They basically dilute their own stock. right? And so you're always going to create more of these things. Bitcoin's the only ETF and the only index that is absolutely capped. And if you combine that with the global brand appeal, the lowest investment risk, the best growth drivers, the best tax treatment, right? The longest holding duration, what you've got is the winner. Austrian economists would think of this as the world's first engineered sound money. You know, Austrian economists have been looking for sound money. It used to be people thought gold might be sound money, but as I pointed out, gold was an imperfect attempt at sound money. We have never in thousands of years ever actually accomplished perfect sound money. Bitcoin is the first monetary asset that is not intrinsically defective. That's a big sentence. Think about it. It's the first non-defective asset. People will build, if you double the price of real estate, they'll create more. If you double the price of a stock, they'll create more. They print more fiat currency. They mine more gold, but nobody can create more Bitcoin. So this is a big idea. And so here we get to the orange pill moment. I mean, the reason you want to go and orange pill everyone you know is we finally have an asset, Bitcoin, the world's leading. It's the leading scarce, desirable, portable, durable, maintainable asset. Right? If you remember, you know, where I started in this presentation, I said, if you don't want to lose the economic war, you need to find something scarce, desirable, portable, durable, and maintainable.
It's been established by many financial and macro experts that the world's current debt-based fiat system is unsustainable. All paper currencies will continuously be devalued until they are worth absolutely nothing. The process might take longer for the US dollar, which is currently the world's reserve currency, and other stronger currencies, but eventually, everything is going to be reduced to nothing. Bitcoin is one of the only assets that manages to outperform the rate of devaluation of strong currencies like the dollar, which loses an average of 7% of its purchasing power yearly. This is why it is important to invest instead of save in the long term. However, even top assets like the S&P 500 only gain 7% per year, meaning investing in the popular stock index will only let you maintain your wealth, not grow it. Other assets like bonds, gold, silver, and less popular stock indexes and currencies perform even worse. But Bitcoin stands out because it was specifically created and designed to tackle this global problem of currency devaluation. According to Michael Saylor, for any asset to outperform Bitcoin, it has to consistently make an annual return of at least 50 to 60% for the next 10 years. That's in addition to being a leading digital asset. In fact, it is at the very foundation of a rapidly growing digital world, which many predict will one day overtake the traditional financial system in its entirety. This is the same realization Saylor made in 2020 when he needed a place to park MicroStrategy's cash holdings without fear of constant devaluation. He found the perfect solution in Bitcoin and has never looked back since. According to the renowned business executive, the only regret he has about Bitcoin is not buying more when the leading cryptocurrency was still under $10,000 per coin. What are your thoughts on Saylor's interview and his outlook on Bitcoin? Please drop your comments as well as your own predictions for Bitcoin in 2024 and beyond in the comments section below. Also, be sure you like this video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on the notifications bell for more videos. Thanks for watching.